-5 by Siri. Samanthabhadra. It's not difficult to become a stream entrant, yet it is a delicate task. Part 1. The Sunday Island, July 15, 2017. The Pali Canon recognizes 4 levels of awakening, the first of which is called stream entry. This gains its name from the fact that a person who has attained this level has entered the stream, flowing inevitably to achieve full awakening. These articles explains the way to enter the stream. It is also known as achieving the Sotapanna state of being. It is not difficult to become a stream entrant as most people believe. Yet it is a delicate thing. And it is only grasped by those who are wise. That's where the problem lies. When one reads this article, he can realize the said stream entrant state. But there is a chance that he may not know he realized it. This state I speak of is unique. It is a teaching that must not be given to each person you meet. I will first prepare the background by giving you preliminary information, before telling you about how to become a stream enterer. The one who obtains the initial information can travel the path to stream entry. If there is a person with a great wisdom, then he can learn the path at once. No preliminary information is necessary for him. He understands at once that there is something beyond the limit that we perceive. I will teach you how to go there. When you follow this path, you will meet the said state. -6 Rhythm of life. There are many people who believe that a stream enterer must be able to travel in the air with his superpowers. Is it true? This is not true. They believe that those who arrive at noble states like stream enterer should be able to perform miracles. There is no such thing. There are 3 kinds of miracles as per Buddha's teachings. Miracle of superhuman power, miracle of deliverance of the path to supreme bliss, miracle of reading others' minds. Buddha told his monks, out of these 3 miracles, the one you should perform is the miracle of deliverance of the path to supreme bliss. What does it mean to perform miracle of teaching? Performing miracle of deliverance means teaching others the Dhamma that you realized and confirmed. Buddha said, monks, the greatest miracle a monk can perform is the miracle of teaching the path to supreme bliss. There is a story about Buddha crossing a river. One day Buddha was by a river with his assistant Ananda, waiting for the ferry boat to arrive. A hermit comes to where they were, laid out a scarf, got onto the scarf and floated across the water. Then Ananda Thero turns to the Buddha and asks, why don't you also get us across the river like that? -7 by Siri. Samanthabhadra. Thero. Buddha replies, Ananda, be patient and wait for the ferry boat. So they wait. When the ferry arrives, he pauses before getting on and asks the ferry boatman, how much do you charge to cross the river? Boatman replies, 25 cents, Your Honor. Buddha turns to Ananda and says, Ananda, the value of that miracle is 25 cents. That person dedicated 30 or 40 years of his life trying to get that power. But if he had used that time to travel the noble path, then he would have already crossed samsara. People waste time trying to get magical powers. If those people spent that time trying to cross samsara by training the mind, then they would have already escaped samsara. Instead of finding reasons to cross samsara, people find reasons not to cross samsara. They collect things that are hindrances to liberation. People try to achieve things that they can never achieve. They try to hold on to things that they cannot hold on to. They try to keep things that they cannot keep. They try to enjoy things that cannot be enjoyed. Knowing well they will not get them, they still go chasing after them. I do not tell you to stop this behavior. Keep doing what you are doing the same way. Just know that you will never get them. Keep running after them. While running, think like this, regardless of however much I run, I will not be satisfied. I will never get what I am trying to get. -8 Rhythm of life. What I will get is not what I think it will be. It will always be something else. What you think will not happen in life. You will not get to enjoy what you hope for. Then my question is, are you going to run seeking these things? Yes, run. Run until you are completely out of breath. When you run like this, at the right time your heart will tell you to stop running. Don't just stop because I tell you to stop. If you stop because I tell you to stop, then that is not because you realized Dhamma. It would be because I told you to stop. Then one day when I am not there, you will start running again. So do you run after worldly goals or not? Run. Run until you are out of breath. When you are out of breath, the heart will testify, saying, "Didn't such and such a person tell that you will be out of breath due to this running?" But you did not agree with that. And you did not believe it. Now it has been proven to you. Do you still want to run, or not? You will never run again. You have become still for eternity. That means you have entered the stream. After that, due to the old habit, you will get ready to run. Then what happens is, your mind will tells you not to run. It will say, there is nothing to gain by running. Then what happens? Then you have lost the need to run. You should investigate your life in the past. All the running that you did in the past. -9 by Siri. Samanthabhadra, how you fell and got wounded while running. Think about all this. You have to do a self-analysis about yourself very honestly. Self-analysis is the way to liberation. Self-analysis means to search about yourself, to think about yourself with an open mind. Feel free to express what you feel. Say what comes to your mind directly. If you want to scold someone, scold the person to his face. That is the greatness. If you have something to say, then say it. That is a person's genuineness. It is his greatness. It is his honesty. The one who comes to the way of the Dhamma shapes himself in this way. If not, that person cannot realize this Dhamma. If one keeps one thing inside and says something else, then that is a dual personality. A dual personality can never enter the stream. The nature of the stream entrant noble follower is that he is truthful. If he feels like saying what comes to his mind, he will say it. Now let's say you have done something wrong and someone feels like scolding you for it. Then what should that person do? He should tell you that you have done something wrong, and he should scold you for it harshly. That should be the nature. That is also his honesty. But then do you hate him? Do you scold him back? You must honor a person's honesty. Noble ones do not look down on honesty. -10 Rhythm of life. What happened when Vimala the prostitute follows Moggallana the great pharaoh on the street? Vimala was a famous prostitute that lived at the time of the Buddha. Vimala saw the handsome figure of Moggallana pharaoh and told him of her desire. Did he scold her? No, he did not scold her. Did he reject her? No, he did not reject her. Did he chase her away? No, he did not chase her away. He let her follow him. He took her with him. Took her and did what? He showed her the way to stream entry. I do things like that too. I trick people. Those in the material world always hope for material gains. I show them as if they are going to get material benefits, and I trick them and take them to the spiritual path. That is the nature. Try to understand what I say. -11 by Siri. Samanthabhadra, we must do a self-evaluation and an exploration of our life. Part 2, The Sunday Island, August 5, 2017. Is traditional love real or fake? It's fake. In reality, love only exists depending on conditions. The one who says he loves you this moment could be your enemy a short time later. Try to understand what I am about to say. Your lover or your enemy is decided by the situation and by the mental state that exists between the two people at that specific time. Did you understand? Didn't most people create dream worlds before they got married? My question is, did their dreams come true exactly as they dreamed? That never happens. When things happen differently, should we hate them? No. Should we reject them, push them away and remove them? No. We only remove the value we give to them. Then how does the mind feel? The mind begins to feel weightless. -12 Rhythm of life. There are people in the world that become joyous when their aspirations in life come true. They become happy thinking that the things they strived for and put effort towards have come to fruition. There are two ways to win in the material world. 1. Effort. 2. Luck. Out of these two, which one is more powerful? Effort or luck? I will tell you a story. Two young men got locked in a dungeon. One of them believed that the world can be won with effort. The other believed that the world can be won with luck. So what did the one who believed in luck do? The one who believed the world is one with luck sat in a corner and waited for his luck to play its part. The one who believed the world is one with effort went looking around everywhere. He left nothing unturned, even tapped on walls and searched. He found a hollow spot in the wall, broke through that spot and found a container. Inside the container he found sweets. After eating his fill of sweets he started to insult the one who believed in luck and threw leftover sweets at him. The one who believed in luck started picking up the sweets and eating them. Suddenly the one who believed in luck bit into something hard. When he took it out of his mouth it was a diamond. So then, who won? This world is not what it seems. Do not ever believe this world. Don't ever believe anything. -13 by Siri Samanthabhadra. If someone believes this world and tries to depend on that, that person is cursed by the ultimate truth that exists in this world. Then all that he built comes crumbling down. There are some hidden rules in this world. A person only understands them after his enlightenment. In physical science there are laws. For example, Newton's laws for motion, Ohm's law for electricity, and Gauss's law for magnetism. In the same way there are laws in spirituality. Our mind works according to those laws. They are deep. We became happy when our wishes came true. We got sad when our wishes did not come true. Now the happiness of wishes coming true and the sadness of wishes not coming true have both gone to the past. What are both of them to you now? A dream. This world is a dream. I always say this world is a dream. It is an illusion. But however much I say this, the great majority of people have not felt this. That is the problem with not being a stream enterer. There is a teaching of the Buddha in the Anguttara Nikaya, Satthakanipada, called Satisaryagamana Sutta. In that sutta Buddha explains how at one point this world will get destroyed by heat. First, the earth will get so hot that all plants will die. Gradually the earth will begin to reach temperatures that will cause it to explode with fire. From there Buddha goes on and says, "Monks, even this earth is without essence. You may live here. You may dwell here. But never get attached. -14 Rhythm of life. Do not even get attached to this earth. Do not grasp this earth. Do not crave this earth. Do not have hopes of this earth." But, he says, this teaching will only be accepted by a stream entrant. Why? Because those who have not entered the stream think the earth is self, and it is eternal. They think I die, but this earth will remain. Is he a stream enterer? He is not a stream enterer. A stream enterer never accepts that he or the world is permanent or eternal. But the stream winner knows when he dies he would be buried in this earth. Even though he knows he will be buried in this earth, he does not accept that the earth is eternal. Then what does the stream entrant, noble follower, accept as eternal? Nirvana. There are two kinds of people in this world. There are those who accept that nirvana is the only eternal thing that exists, and there are those who accept that this earth and all the other physical objects exist for eternity. Which group do you belong to? You still belong to the group that accepts physical objects as eternal. If we were to join the group that believes nirvana is eternal, then we go from one side to the other. For that, something should happen in us. What should happen in us is, we must do a self-evaluation of our life. We must do an exploration about life. Life is a dream, an illusion. We think that this illusion is real. -15 by Siri Samanthabhadra. We have been taught how to be stuck inside this illusion right from our childhood. We expect many things in life. When we continue to contemplate life deeper and deeper, we will understand the whole world. When we get that understanding, we will become still. That is stream entry. That is enough to enter the stream. Until I live, many different tasks are given to me by karma. That means you also have been given many different tasks by karma. I'm telling you an easy way to break free from all this. This way is not exactly easy, but it is not difficult either. The most important thing is you must believe the words I say. Otherwise you cannot get to that state. Why is that? Let's say I'm going on a trip with many of you across a desert. Everyone that's going with me are thirsty. But there is no water in the desert. I leave everyone someplace, go looking by myself, find an oasis and come back to tell you. I say, I found an oasis. I know where there is water. Then the fools among you will say, we came so far without water. We did not find any water anywhere in this desert. So we do not believe you. Then I face a great difficulty. I know where there is water. The oasis has a well. But you must travel a bit far along a path to get to it. These people do not believe me. So how can I take them to the oasis? That is why I tell you to believe. Now you tested and you investigated. All the investigations have been done. So now listen to what I say. After listening, you must do what I say. These people say there is no oasis. -16 rhythm of life, but they are thirsty. I know these people do not believe what I say. They need water. There is also an oasis with water. Then what kind of feeling arises within me for them? Compassion. Look at the nature of compassion. When they refuse, I drag them to the oasis by force. That is the nature of great compassion, Mahakaruna. I drag them there and tell them to drink water. The one who drag others must put forth great effort and endure difficulty to make others drink. Why? These ignorant people do not believe even though I say there is water. These fools do not trust my words. The problem is they have not heard words from a trustworthy person before. But what I said is right. So it must be believed. A similar incident took place between Buddha and Kasibharadvaja as mentioned in Kasibharadvaja Sutta. Kasibharadvaja was a unique character. One day Buddha was traveling on foot when Kasibharadvaja was in his rice fields. He had just finished a big ritual and got into the field to start farming when Buddha comes to pass by. Seeing the Buddha walk by, Kasibharadvaja calls out to Lord Buddha in a harsh manner. Thrathovimandaka, Thrathovimandaka Thatha. Stop there, monk. Stop there, bald monk. -17 by Siri Samanthabhadra Thero. Then in the same harsh tone Kasibharadvaja says, Dahanbo Somana Kasami Chavipamicha Kasithvachavidbithvacha Bunjami. Monk, I get food after plowing the fields, sowing seed and reaping the harvest. Tumpi Somana Kasasu Chave Pasucha Kasithvachavidbithvacha Bunjasuti. Monk, you should also plow a field, sow seed, reap harvest and get food. Going from place to place begging for food is not a good thing. And then Buddha replies, Ahampiko Brahmanakasami Chavipamicha Kasithvachavidbithvacha Bunjamiti. Brahman, I too plow a field, sow, reap and eat. Kasibharadvaja was confused by this statement. So he inquired, you claim to be a plowman, but I don't see your plow. Tell us about your plowing so that we too may know about your plowing. Then the Buddha explains, Brahman, conviction is my seed, austerity my rain, discernment my yoke and plow, conscience my pole, mind my yoke tie, mindfulness my plowshare and goad. -18 rhythm of life, guarded in body, guarded in speech, restrained in terms of belly and food, I make truth the weeding hook, and composure my unyoking. Persistence, my beast of burden, bearing me toward rest from the yoke takes me, without turning back to where, having gone, one doesn't grieve. That's how my plowing is plowed. It has as its fruit the deathless. Having plowed this plowing, one is unyoked from all suffering and stress. Quote. Hearing this explanation of Lord Buddha's, Kasibharadvaja thought, how different. What is this farming he is talking about? Quote. Then the Buddha replied, taking the seed called conviction, using the rain called asceticism, he plows with the plows of wisdom. Fear of doing evil is the pole. Mind is the rope used to tie the yoke onto the cattle. Mindfulness is both the cutting edge of the plows and the stick used for driving cattle. I am controlled in my bodily action and speech and I eat less. Then Kasibharadvaja said, so wonderful is your farming. After doing all this work and reaping the harvest, all I received was some grain. But those who do your kind of farming are released from suffering forever. And once Kasibharadvaja finished listening to the rest of the teaching, he offered the leftover rice cakes to the Buddha. -19 by Siri Samanthabhadra Thero. The Buddha replied, Buddhas do not accept food offered in return for teachings. Go and throw that food into water that has no creatures or an empty field. Then Samanthabhadra looked for a body of water and threw the rice cakes into it. When he threw the rice cakes into it, the rice cakes began to smoke. He returned to the Buddha and said, "My Lord, that was miraculous. As soon as I threw the rice cakes into water, they smoked and exploded. I understood what you said." Samanthabhadra became a fully enlightened being. He became an ordained monk in Buddha's order. Now I am asking you, what is the first sentence in Samanthabhadra Sutta? Shraddha-bijang. This means believe with conviction. But when you believe with conviction, you must be very careful. Do not believe just because I say. Why do I say, do not believe just because I tell you? You have not yet come to a conclusion whether what I say is true or false. So hear me well. And when you hear me well, you will realize he knows something that I do not know. But the problem he has is, he cannot say what he knows with words. Then what should do? If you get faith after listening with much convictions, after thinking, accept that path. But being idle after accepting is not enough. -20 Rhythm of life. What must you do next? You must travel the path. Sometimes you may even have to force me to tell you the path. Believe what I say. Accept with conviction. Otherwise we cannot go on this journey. You will go into the desert and get lost there. Those who do not believe what I say about the oasis will not be able to reach the oasis. Also, those who believe what I say about the oasis but are still lying in the desert due to thirst, they too will not be able to reach the oasis. Why? They believed me when they heard my words about the oasis. But since they did not make an effort to get to the oasis, they will not be able to reach the oasis. So I give the sole decision-making power of reaching the oasis to you. Whom did I hand your sole decision-making power to? You. Who is your all-powerful God? You. -21 by Siri. Samanthabhadra. The Dhamma is of no use to those who know it, but it's useful to those who practice it. Part 3, The Sunday Island, September 2, 2017. If you want to liberate yourself, then you yourself must find out the path and follow the path. I cannot liberate you. I cannot be your liberator. However much I try, I cannot be somebody else's liberator. All I can be is a route advisor. I can tell you the path. But this path I'm telling you is a unique path. It is different from the path you learned in the traditional world. But it was also not learned from a book. It is a path that was learned by training the mind. That is why I tell you with confidence to travel this path. I know all the potholes and the turns in this path. But I do not tell you about the potholes and turns. Why? If I tell you about potholes and turns in advance, you will not travel the path. Instead, you will think that you traveled the path. I will tell you a story. Once there was a monk. He knew Dhamma well. He thought he was an awakened one. But he was not. But his student that was an awakened one. The student had practiced Dhamma. This Dhamma is of no use to those who know it, but is useful to those who practice it. One day when the teacher and the student were having a conversation, the teacher told the student that he is an awakened one. The teacher can perform miracles. -22 Rhythm of life. So as the conversation continued, the student said to the teacher, "Since you are an awakened one, please create an elephant." While the student was watching, the teacher created an elephant. An elephant with silver tusks and big eyes that were looking around. Then the student said, "Now teacher, you must make the elephant charge in our direction." As soon as the teacher did this, the elephant began to charge, and the teacher got up and ran. Now who created the elephant? He himself. Who got scared and ran? He himself. Then the student stopped the elephant and said, "You are not an awakened one. An awakened one is not scared. You must investigate and understand this. Dhamma that is not practiced is useless. One who knows is only a scholar. We do not need scholars. We need those who are wise." Think about what I said with an open and relaxed mind. Only when you do that will you reach the great state that the Buddha taught. It is not difficult to go on this path. I will tell you the reason why you still cannot go. You still do not have a strong conviction of the path I tell you. You think, I'm not sure if it is true. I'm not sure if it's false. Even if I do what he says, I'm not sure if I would reach the destination he is talking about. Then you think, he has practiced many lifetimes for this? But I am not like him. -23 by Siri Samanthabhadra. The question is, what would have happened if Angulimala thought like that? He would still be running around with that sword. Do not think like that. You think like that because you still have ego in you. You cannot go on this path with ego. You must make effort to realize Dhamma. In a series of articles, we will talk about the method to realize Dhamma. It is unique. It is natural. It is easy. To realize Dhamma, the first thing a follower should have is conviction. Conviction is trust. You accept because you have respect for the teacher. But before you accept, you yourself must do an evaluation about the teacher and his wisdom. What most people do is listen to lectures and remember them. But nobody realizes Dhamma. To realize Dhamma, you must force yourself onto the path of training the mind if you have to. You cannot go in this path comfortably. Why can you not go in comfortably? Your mind is already addicted to various habits. It already has numberless habits. This mind that is addicted to habits keep running behind a myriad of pleasures. It runs after one pleasure and does not find it there. Then it pauses to think about that for a brief moment and then starts running after some other pleasure. It continuously repeats this process. Whether it gets the pleasure or not, it keeps running after different things. So when does this torture of chasing come to an end? This process is an endless search for pleasure. In the end, it is all a dream. -24 Rhythm of life. If this is all a dream, then why run so much? Stop. Stop and think. Do not run at full speed as possible chasing goals. All throughout samsara, the mind has trained to seek pleasures. You run to explore hatred, jealousy, lust, anger. Now each person has made a path for his mind to search for pleasures. You have created a path for your mind to seek lust. When one pleasure is not found, it seeks another. When it loses that, it seeks yet another. I will tell you how to become free of this search. Let's stop this crazy running. For that, you will have to accept my teaching. You will have to accept it without any conditions. We usually tell someone something softly at first. Then what do? Next we say it a bit sterner. Then we say it harshly. And if they do not listen to that, we do something even more. The great Moggallana does this to Socrates, the ruler of the Trayastrimsa heaven. You can read this in Mahatana Sankhya Sutta. One day Socrates, lord of the Devas, comes to visit the Buddha to find out about letting go. After hearing about letting go, he goes back to Trayastrimsa heaven and builds a castle. One day Moggallana wants to find out how Socrates' practice of letting go was coming along. So Moggallana -25 by Siri Samanthabhadra appears in front of Socrates. Then Socrates says to Moggallana, I built a beautiful castle. Let me take you on a tour to see it. As they're touring, Socrates points out, here are the flower gardens, here are the halls, etc. After the tour, Moggallana pushes the castle with his foot. The whole castle crumbles down and is destroyed. At that moment the Socrates realized the Dhamma. Do you see the nature of realization? If someone attempted to make you realize Dhamma in this manner, what would you do? You will hate Moggallana. But Socrates is wise. Socrates thought what he did was a good thing. He destroyed my castle. When the castle was destroyed, I realized that my world gets destroyed. That means Socrates was given a lesson about the stream entry. Now I will bring up a question. It is mentioned in the sutta that Moggallana destroyed Socrates' castle with his foot. What exactly did Moggallana destroy here? He destroyed the world that Socrates had created with the six senses: eye, ear, nose, body, tongue and mind. Here is another question. Where exactly did Socrates build his castle? In his mind. Then what exactly did Moggallana destroy? Socrates' mind. Where does the world exist? Within eye, ear, nose, body, tongue and mind. Then what exactly is the meaning of destroying the world? -26 Rhythm of life showing the meaninglessness of eye, ear, nose, body, tongue and mind as destroying the world. I too destroy your world and teach you an eternal state beyond this world. I do it without mercy. What is destroying the world? Making one realize the meaninglessness of the world which he has created with the eye, ear, nose, body, tongue and mind. Then a need, an interest, a hope appears within one to search for something beyond this meaningless world. Let's say we go to a restaurant to eat. We have heard from someone that the food in this restaurant is tasty. So we have painted a picture in our mind that the food in this restaurant is very good. When the food is brought to the table and when we try it, it is not tasty. Now what happened to the world? It got destroyed. That itself is enough for stream entry. Understand what I say here. Think about this deep. During our life, how many pictures did we paint in our mind? Think about the picture we painted about the food in the restaurant. But when we got there and ate, we realized the true nature. Truth is, it did not have the great taste we had in mind. Then all the dreams we had about the food being tasty got destroyed. That means everything I created about the food, before eating it, is delusional. But I did not realize that delusion until I came to the restaurant and ate. This is foolishness. Understand this well. Now you must do a life analysis. Because of the greed for this food, I came after it. What directed me here is the greed that was in my mind and my sensual desire. Do you understand the inside workings? -27 by Siri. Samanthabhadra. When you do a self-analysis, you understand whose shortcoming this is. There was a shortcoming on my part. I believed that the food here is good because someone else said so. But there is no such thing. Now I cannot eat the food in this restaurant. The food is not as tasty as I thought. What do I do after that? I go to another restaurant. Look at your life. I am not saying a deep Dhamma. I'm just talking about day-to-day life. If you think about a small incident, a small loss in your daily life, that itself is enough to achieve greatness. I am saying food being distasteful at a restaurant is enough for a man to become a stream entrant, an awakened one, or even a Buddha, fully awakened one. But what quality should he have? He should be extremely wise. He should be sensitive. Do sensitive people love other people or not? Yes, they do. But they do not have expectations. And question is, why do they not have expectations? The way I understood it, the scope of love of a person who has not developed his mind is narrow. The scope of love of a person who has developed his mind is wide. What happens when one begins to develop his mind? It begins to become wider. That person is called a Bodhisattva. The angle of a normal person's love is only 1, 2 or 3 degrees. A Bodhisattva's love is 50 or 160 degrees. Then when a normal person loves a Bodhisattva, is that love sufficient or insufficient? -28 Rhythm of life. It is insufficient. So Bodhisattvas learn to love, but they do not expect love in return. They are noble. They love everybody, but do not expect anything in return. But you love expecting love in return. And there is a problem there. Suffering lies there. Why? When you expect something, because of that expectation not being met, suffering comes. Be like the sun. Every day the sun gives light to the whole solar system. It never takes anything in return from the solar system. So the sun is never dependent on anyone. When you look at the sun, you see how glorious it is. You see how powerful it is. Why? It gives out light without expecting anything in return. That is why I say, do not expect anything in life. Do not even expect love. When you live without expectation, who would you be like? You would be like the sun. That means you would have great glory, great power, great strength. I say if one trains in this way, he is a Bodhisattva. Then the sun and him are both the same. They have both achieved the same state. That is Bodhicharya. He is able to stare at the sun. The sun does not do anything to him. Do not expect anything, any day, from anyone in life. Take this to mind. After taking to mind, apply it to your daily life. You will think there is more time, so I will do it later. Then what happens? You will not be able to do it later. aging, sickness and death comes speeding at you before. Minus 29 by Siri Samanthabhadra Thero that is where the problem is. Then the sensible person thinks about these things. Small things like this are enough for a person to enter the stream. Think well about life. Think really well. Let's say it starts to rain hard. When it rains hard, doesn't everyone complain about the rain? Or the hot sun comes out? Then doesn't everyone complain about the sun? That is a shortfall of yours. You expect that the sun should behave the way you want. You expect that the rain should behave the way you want. That means we have expectations about the sun and the rain. Can you control these things? To control these things you must gain great power. Without that you cannot control them. You try to control things that cannot be controlled. Rain does not rain at the time you want. Rain comes down at times you do not expect. Isn't the Dhamma enough to become an awakened one? What is that Dhamma? That Dhamma is sometimes it rains and sometimes the sun shines brightly. Before, you cursed the rain. But now how should you think? Why do I think the rain should come down at the time that I want? What is the fair reason to think in that manner? What is the logic for such thinking? Is there an agreement between me and the rain? There is no such agreement. Minus 30 Rhythm of life. Do not keep any agreement with anyone in life. This path that I'm saying is completely free. Even those who are married, keep an agreement without a binding. Live together, eat together, practice spirituality together, have an agreement without a binding. Is that not a relief? Can you live like that or not? You can. Then will there be suffering? No. One day the husband or the wife leaves the marriage. Then what do? You say, that is good. I was also waiting to see when this will happen. If the same happened in the past, what would you have done? You would have taken knives and clubs and started a huge quarrel. The fight might have ended in a murder or hurt feelings. But now what happens? An effortless comfort. There is no expectation. Do not underestimate the Dhamma I am saying. If you understand this Dhamma that I'm saying, then that person who understands it will never become a loser in life. He will win every day in life. That means there will be no situation for him to win. If you think like this in life, how easy is it to live? But to live in line with this Dhamma, you must be fortunate. Minus 31 by Siri Samanthabhadra Thero. Have you heard about the great philosopher Sir Isaac Newton? Sir Isaac Newton's wife left him. She said, I cannot live with him. He is always doing mathematics. That was unfortunate for Isaac Newton. What was unfortunate? He did not find someone who is matching. But do we suffer thinking we did not find a partner who is matching? In life, if you get the husband, wife, partner or friend that is not matching, do you mentally suffer? Do not suffer mentally. Think in the opposite direction. I will tell you a story about Socrates. His wife was unkind and violent. She used to yell at Socrates for one thing or the other every day. The reason Socrates became a philosopher was her behavior. So the husbands and wives reading this must yell at the other person as much as you can. When you yell at the other person, it drives that person to greatness. Who helps a Bodhisattva to become a Buddha? It is those who act against him. Who makes a person an awakened one? It is those who work against him. Who makes a person great? Those who stand against him. If one is to reach greatness, then he must have a lot of enemies. Without enemies, a person does not reach greatness. One day his wife was yelling at Socrates. But Socrates was not affected. Those who have developed their mind are not affected when someone yells at them. Minus 32 Rhythm of life. So seeing that Socrates was not responding the way she wanted, she brought a big bucket of water and poured it over his head. Then a student comes and asks him, Teacher, why are you soaked? Socrates answers, Son, after thunder it generally rains. Now my question is, can you also see life incidents with such lightness? If the answer is no, then that means you have not tamed your existence like that. You have not practiced the Dhamma. You may say, nobody can do the things you say. Things you say are difficult to do. I am not saying something difficult. If you do what I say, you will reach a state where you will not give a value to anything. So I am telling you to grasp this path that I am saying. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. -33 by Siri Samanthabhadra. There are those who are not aware that they are constantly seeking alternatives or trapped in trickery. Part 4, The Sunday Island, October 7, 2017. Learn to live free, without anything. That is when you will realize the Dhamma I am saying. It is unique. Those who realize this Dhamma definitely live their life alone. What do I mean by living life alone? There are no bindings. Who is next to him at the moment when a Bodhisattva reaches Buddhahood? Nobody. Not even an animal. Not even a dog or a cat. If he has a dog next to him when he is about to reach Buddhahood, what will happen? He will have a thought, I have a dog with me. That thought is a disturbance to reaching Buddhahood. Then he expects protection out of the dog. Is it clear what I am saying? One who attains Buddhahood does not expect anything from anybody. Anybody who attains Buddhahood reaches that state alone. That is why mental aloneness is required when reaching states like stream entry. I am not talking about physical aloneness. We live with our arms around each other's shoulder. But mentally each of us are alone. Do each of us become hungry at the same time? Do each of us get headaches at the same time? -34 Rhythm of life. How can two people be the same like that? There is no such thing. Understand well. No two people are the same. Nature has given each of us an independent life. Each of us have a time that we are born and a time that we die. No matter how good we are as friends, can we die at the same time? Can we be born again at the same time? Learn from this. There is something deep in life. Something which we do not know about. Something that is hidden. A very wise thinker will understand this secret. When he understands this secret, he becomes a person who has realized the truth. One problem you all have is, you get tired of everything in life. That tiredness exists due to your habits and samsara. Think this through well. We have practiced different habits in life. Let's say we like to eat pasta. When we continuously eat pasta over a period of time, what happens? We get tired of it. Then instead of pasta, we eat something else. I am asking you, when are we going to escape this cycle? No matter what we do in life, we feel that life is never complete. There is always something missing somewhere. However much we do, however much we eat, however much we experience, however much we enjoy, whatever we do, there is a pain inside of not being fulfilled. Do you feel that or not? If the answer is yes, then you are searching for stream entry. -35 by Siri Samanthabhadra. I was also searching for a way to break through this void. Everyone feels this void. However many things you do, there is no happiness. Happiness is only until you keep doing those things. When you stop doing them, you are left with an exhaustion and unhappiness. When you contemplate this exhaustion, you develop a need to escape the exhaustion. A need to rise above the exhaustion. Until now we temporarily rose from exhaustion. How does one temporarily rise from exhaustion? By becoming happy about physical things. What is the meaning of becoming happy about physical things? When you are thirsty, you drink water. When water becomes unsatisfying, you think you must drink some tea. That means we are seeking alternatives. Don't you feel even for a moment that you are fooling your mind? Do you understand? You are fooling your mind. How do you fool your mind? You constantly provide different stimulants to the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. It is just like when a baby cries, you give him some toys and he stops crying. But a short while later he cries again. Then the parents give some other things to stop his crying. You are also just like that. You still have that habit rooted in you. You are searching for alternatives. Right now your mind is tricked. -36 Rhythm of life. All those who do not know that they are constantly seeking alternatives are trapped in trickery. Those who do not know they are seeking alternatives think that the world is real. They think the world is permanent. That is why each person is attempting to make him or herself happy. But as soon as one cannot find alternatives, the mind feels exhausted. They feel the void again. Think of the story of Yasa. He lived in his family's home in ancient Varanasi and lived a life of luxury. His father was a millionaire. Servants, musicians and dancers catered to the family's needs and entertainment around the clock. One day he wanted sweets and his mother sent him 2 covered empty plates. What happened when he opened them? There were no sweets. The need is there. The alternative is absent. As soon as there is a need without the alternative present, then there is a void. That itself is enough for a wise person. Then this wise person thinks about the void. Even though I seek alternatives, I do not get those alternatives when I want them. I do not get them the way I want them or in the amount I want them. So in this search for alternatives, there is an exhaustion at the end. This exhaustion is the motivation to escape samsara. A stream entrant never feels an exhaustion. But you still feel a void when you do not receive what you want in life. Life does not deliver your alternatives. And you do not get what you like. And when you don't get them, you end up with some suffering in your mind. -37 by Siri Samanthabhadra Thero. But it is not the same for one who already reached stream entry. Why is there no such thing for him? Knowing that alternatives are an illusion, he looks for alternatives. How do you live without looking for alternatives? When you have the need to drink tea, you drink tea. But there is no expectation that the tea should come at the time you want or it should be the taste you expect. That's the only difference of a stream entrant. You may ask, can you live a normal life when you reach the stream enterer state? You can. I am explaining a deep Dhamma in a simple way. A stream entrant seeks alternatives. A stream entrant still has sensual desire, still has anger, still has delusion. All those who still have sensual desire, anger and delusion are those who still seek alternatives. The reason one seeks alternatives is because he thinks something will last. It is because he has not reached the state where he fully realizes that nothing lasts. He realizes life is within these two, and that is the reason for seeking alternatives. Becoming still when he doesn't get the alternatives is his stream entrant nature. Despite that, searching for alternatives is the worldly nature he has. Is it clear what I am saying? He has hopes, but he has no definitive feeling that they must come true. I will explain stream entrant state accurately. -38 Rhythm of life. Earlier I said that we search for alternatives in life. Let's say there are 2 people with similar minds. These 2 people have not reached stream entry. One of them seeks 5 alternatives. The other one seeks 20 alternatives. Out of these 2 people, which one can reach stream entry faster? The one who seeks 20 alternatives. Because there is more exhaustion in seeking 20 alternatives than seeking 5 alternatives. Let's say I ask you to work with motivation and effort to buy a motorcycle. So you do that and buy a motorcycle. Right after you bought the motorcycle, I tell you, now you have bought a motorcycle. Don't stop there. Make effort and buy a car. Then you try hard and buy a car. Then again I tell you, the car is not enough, you must buy a helicopter. Then you buy a helicopter. When you buy the helicopter, I tell you to buy an airplane. If you are someone who realizes the Dhamma, what should you do? You should scold me. You should say, what a nuisance is this? First you told me to buy a bicycle. Then you told me to buy a car. Then a helicopter. When I bought all that, now you want me to buy a plane. Quote. When you seek in this manner, what you arrive at is exhaustion. I am telling you kindly, do not keep any hope in life. Then you will be free. Do all your daily tasks. Do everything. Allow it to happen what must happen. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. -39 by Siri Samanthabhadra Thero. It is those with no hopes that have become great, successful and wealthy in this world. Part 5. The Sunday Island, November 5, 2017. You have ego. Here is the biggest proof that you have ego. Instead of allowing something to happen the way it's meant to happen, you try to make something else happen. The need for something else to happen is arising because ego is thriving within you. The ego that says, I must defeat others, still exists. This is deep Dhamma. It is the first time even I am hearing this. It is the first time that you and I are both hearing this. The notion I and mine has a strong presence inside. We don't like things happening the way they are meant to happen. We all like them to happen the way we want them to happen. We see, hear and observe various aspects of our life and then try to make them the way we want them to be. Have you ever been able to make something into what you want in this life? That will never happen. There is always some discrepancy. Win everything that is worldly with effort and motivation. If you want to mine for diamonds, mine with effort. If you hit a rock on the way, break it and reach the place in earth where diamonds are deposited. Extract that earth and wash it. But have no hope that you will find diamonds. Then I pronounce him as a successful diamond miner. Why? -40 rhythm of life. Even if he does not find diamonds, he has no disappointment. He has no exhaustion whatsoever. Why? Because he has no hope of finding diamonds. I ask you a question, is it people with hopes or those with no hopes that have become great, successful and wealthy in this world? It is those with no hopes that have become great, successful and wealthy in this world. Hopes are the limit of your success. Regardless of whether it will happen or not, work hard. Then there is no suffering. That is the noble path. Let's say I expect that after reading this you will come to the noble path and become a stream entrant. What will happen if I think like that? I will run into a big problem. I will question you next year to find out if you have reached stream entry. Then at that time, if I find out you have not reached stream entry, what will I get? I will get suffering. Then I will scold myself. I am a great fool. Why did I think that somebody who does not belong to me will become a stream entrant? Then I will always think in the opposite manner. And because I think in the opposite manner, there is no reason for me to have any suffering. Let's say someone scolds me and belittles me. Now how will I think? Why did I think that they will say only good things about me? Did you understand this way of thinking? -41 by Siri. Samanthabhadra. Who are you talking with here? You are talking with your own internal self. Then let's say someone speaks to you with love. Then what do you think? You think, be careful. Who is this person speaking to you now? The realization within your own internal self is speaking to you. That will be your stream entrant nature. When there is calamity or any problem, that stream entrant nature arises and thinks. It says, be careful. Now behave in this manner. Then I ask you a question. Can you control yourself? No. Stream entrant nature has not taken over the ownership of you. Why has stream entrant nature not taken over the ownership of you yet? Because you still have ego. Ego is also called Sakyodipthi. That is why you must break the ego. Remove the idea, I must rise, I must do, and I must be. The ego is like the hard shell of a coconut. If you were to get to the coconut fruit, then you have to break the shell. When you break the shell, you get to see the edible fruit part of the coconut. Just like that, every human being has this hard shell called ego. When you break the hard shell of ego, every human being joins with nature. They realize this Dhamma. There is a hard shell around you keeping you from realizing this Dhamma. That shell is the ego. -42 Rhythm of life. Inspect how the ego arises within you. Continue to observe this. Let's say we want to win something. For example, there is a running event and we want to take the first place. Then there is an idea that arises within us that everyone else must come second. Now the question is, can a stream entrant win first place in a running event? He can. But what happens if one runs with the hope of becoming first? While running with the hope of becoming first, what if he slips and falls? Janvaran Pasavati, Dukansati Parajayo means, victory creates enemies, defeat creates sorrow. Let us say a stream entrant is running for a marathon. He has no disappointment even if he loses. I will tell you a funny story. There was an athlete. One day a burglar broke into his house. He saw the burglar escape and chased after him. He ran past the burglar and asked, "Did you think you were going to run with me and win? Don't you see? He is a different kind of an athlete. I like people of that sort. They run without a goal. runs after the burglar, but without the need to catch the burglar. A unique man. He never intended to catch the burglar. Look at life like that, in a unique way. But when you look at life in such a unique way, what will people say about you? He is crazy. -43 by Siri Samanthabhadra Thero that should be so. Sapruthagiyana Eva Unmathaka. Those who have not realized the Dhamma are crazy. Those who have realized the Dhamma says those who have not realized are crazy. And those who have not realized the Dhamma says those who have realized the Dhamma are crazy. These two groups will always say that the other is crazy. But who is really crazy? Those who have not realized are actually crazy. A person who has realized the Dhamma would never say that another person who has realized the Dhamma is crazy. It is because they have both realized. That is why those who have realized say, those who have not realized the Dhamma are crazy. Those who have not realized run after feelings, expectations and wishes. After running when they do not get them, they suffer. After resting a little due to their exhaustion, they run again. Look what is happening here. Think about life. I'm telling you to save yourself from this running. To escape from the running, you must think about the exhaustion you get as a result of the running. This exhaustion that you feel is valuable. The problem is nobody pays any attention to it. I tell you that this exhaustion that you feel is vital to realize the Dhamma. When we think about this, we feel a great desire to escape this exhaustion. But you are not allowed to escape. You are clamped down. Then you make a strong determination that you will somehow break loose and escape. -44 Rhythm of life. I will somehow cross this boundary that I am entrapped within. Entrapped within whose boundary? Within Mara's boundary. I will somehow undo these ties. Having the intention of undoing the ties, you stay aware, waiting for an opportunity. Who must break these bindings? You yourself must break them. In order to break these binds, what must exist within you? Awareness must exist within you. Why do you need awareness? You need awareness to do a self-analysis about your mind and how defilements are subdued. Defilements are the mental states that cloud the mind and manifest in unwholesome actions. Now who are we watching? Our own mind. What are we watching? How the mind becomes defeated by Mara. Mara, the state of mind that acts against the realization. -45 by Siri Samanthabhadra Thero. A man is a collection of his samsaric habits. We are watching thoughts in the mind. We have a great need to break the binds and rise up. But we are kept from breaking them. Our samsaric habits do not allow us to do this. You cannot break them due to various habits that you yourself made. A man is a collection of his samsaric habits. His hands, trunk, neck and everything else is tied together by those habits he collected. So he cannot break them and stand up at once. These binds must be broken carefully, wisely and with patience. That's why Buddha said, dwell a walk of the giant. Sing Sachin Dhammo Dithi Chago. You must cultivate the Dithi quality. Dithi is the wisdom gained through patience. Now we have understood that we are bound to our own practices. Those practices are our own addictions. Next, what we must do is we inspect to see what addictions we have and we don't have. It is until we have these addictions that we have to run in this samsara. So how do I escape from here? Keep thinking like this for some time. This is not a teaching I give after reading a book. This teaching is from my practical experience in life. -46 Rhythm of life. The nature of the mind is that if you put something into it, the mind will run after it. Mind makes it a habit. What we did until now was we kept making different habits. Now we tell the mind to make the habit of not making habits. The mind is violent. So you must talk to the mind lovingly and tame it. Let's say there is a violent person. How do you subdue him? Or let's say there is a thug. How do we discipline this thug? We talk to him sincerely, hold his hand, throw our arm around his shoulder. Then he becomes subdued. That is the meaning of Purisa Dhamma Sarathi. Meaning, trainer of the untamable ones. Do you understand the method? We make Mara get caught in an illusion. But he does not know that he is in an illusion. We can make him get caught in an illusion, but first we must free ourselves. Those who free themselves can trap others in illusions. After we free ourselves, if Mara comes with force, we strike back until he gets knocked down. Do you understand the way of taming? The methods are unique. Then Mara accepts defeat. He cannot be subdued by anyone. I cannot tame him. At one time, the Buddha was residing in a city called Allah. In the jungle near the city, there was a rock cave. That was the giant Alawaka's home. One day, the Buddha entered this rock cave and sat on Alawaka's seat. -47 by Siri. Samanthabhadra. The giant came to his cave after some time and saw the Buddha. Alawaka was so annoyed that a bhikkhu has come to his cave without his permission. He then shouted so loudly that the whole jungle trembled, and said, "Recluse, get out of my house." "All right, my friend," replied the Buddha, and calmly walked out. When the Buddha walked out, Alawaka thought he should call this bhikkhu back in, and send him out again, then call again, and send him out again, and continue doing so until the bhikkhu is so exhausted that he will never enter a place like this again. Assuming this, Alawaka raised his roaring voice and said, "Recluse, come back in." The ever-compassionate Buddha very calmly went back in. The demon thought that this bhikkhu was now frightened by his words. Alawaka once again grumbled and asked the Buddha to go out of the cave. He called him back again. Alawaka was demon thought that this bhikkhu was now frightened by his words. Alawaka once again grumbled and asked the Buddha to go out of the cave. He called him back again. Alawaka was allowed to do this only 3 times. And when he roared for the 4th time, the Buddha said, "Giant, I am not going out again. You may do whatever you are capable of." The giant realized that this recluse is not an ordinary one. Therefore, he decided to harass the Buddha by asking various questions. In this example, my mind is Alawaka, the forceful one. Mindfulness that I developed is the Buddha that is getting ready to tame Alawaka. Now Buddha has gone into Alawaka's territory and he is taking Alawaka's space. Who gets angry when he sees this? -48 Rhythm of life. Alawaka gets angry. When you allow the message I gave to seep into your mind, the samsaric habit in your mind becomes enraged at you, and also at me. Isn't that true? He is the one who messed up the system. He is the one who entered the germ that would fight against my continuation and would ultimately destroy me. The Mara that is in your head is opposing me. You must understand that Mara is cunning. He is thinking, I must not stand against him. Because if I stand up, then my boundary will be broken. What is the boundary? His boundary is suppressing. When he stands up to suppress, what happens? The boundary limit extends. Set to suppress, what must he do? He must quietly remove himself from the equation. So I know that none of the Maras that are within you will come to challenge me. As soon as they step forward, I will make it a stepping stone and rise up. Buddha, here is Dhamma. Alawaka the giant, here is your mind. What does Alawaka do first in his attempt to defeat? He threatens and tries to create fear. But Buddha remains still. This is the way to tame. While taming, do you go to struggle with him? No. Do you go to show kindness? No. I cannot tell anyone that I will tame you, or this is the way to tame yourself. If I say that, then that is wrong. -49 by Siri. Samanthabhadra. The method is decided by what happens when he comes close to you. Or it depends on the kind of thoughts that are in your mind. What becomes tamed are thoughts. Alawaka told Buddha to leave. Again he told Buddha to return. Like this he told Buddha to leave and return several times. Finally, what did Buddha say to Alawaka? Nakwahangivuzo nekamasami jangte karanayang tankaro hiti. I will not leave from here. If there is anything that can do to me, then do it. Dhamma has now claimed ownership of your mind. Now there are 2 people in your mind. On one side there is Buddha. On the other side there is Alawaka. Finally, this is the point we always end up in. There are two people. Is that clear? We live according to the one that wins. There are two people within the person who reaches stream entry also. But within him the Buddha is more powerful. Then does the stream entrant embark on an endless journey chasing sensual desire? No. Why not? Because it is futile. Does he not enjoy sensual pleasure? He does. He enjoys sensual pleasure not because they are -50 rhythm of life meaningful. It is due to the worldliness that still exists within him. But after enjoying, he contemplates the meaninglessness of it. After understanding the meaningless, he realizes the craving to enjoy still exists. Anger and hatred still exists. But he does not have the desire to run chasing after enjoyment. I'm saying this because we all have experienced enjoying and searching for enjoyment. I'm saying this because of the exhaustion we felt in doing so. How much have we run? Despite how out of breath we were, didn't we still kept running? Didn't we run thinking we will gain something meaningful? Yes, we have. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. -51 by Siri Samanthabhadra. A man can never confirm whether he has realized the truth from being in a positive situation. When we come to realize, and when we reach stream entry, do we still need to search, chase or seek enjoyment? No, we have previously experienced exhaustion from running after pleasure. Then we stopped. When we become like that, we understand that we are different from how we were before. That means now there is something inside of us. That something is Dhamma. When Dhamma takes root inside of us, in other words, when we enter the stream, we must investigate that nature. I will tell you how to investigate stream entrant state. Let's say you face a scary situation in life. About 20 or 30 people surround you to beat you up. Then what do? Do you fight or flight? Or do you become still? You become still. I say that a man can never confirm whether he has realized the truth from being in a positive situation. A negative and dangerous situation confirms to him that he has realized the truth. We always face different situations. What regular people cannot do is to react positively to a negative situation. -52 rhythm of life. Then how does the noble follower who has realized Dhamma face negativity? He faces negativity with positivity. He compares this new nature with his former nature. Before, if someone came to attack him, he would have beaten them back down to the ground. Possibly until the attackers are dead. But now he does not find the need to do that. It is not because he cannot do that anymore or because his body is not strong. There is no longer a point in retaliating. There is nothing to settle or protect. There is no need to defend the ownership to anything. So he becomes still. That means he has reached stream entry. That means he has realized Dhamma. Understand what I'll say well. It is from the way we react to such a negative situation that we can test our realization. When such an event happens, you must decide if you have realized Dhamma or not. When suddenly there is an emergency, do we remember these things or do we retaliate with whatever we can grab hold of? If you still search for whatever that can be used as a weapon, then you have not realized the Dhamma yet. This is a small lesson. But use it to test your realization with precision. Let's say after listening to me, someone thinks Venerable Samanthabhadra said that the one who realizes Dhamma stays calm and still in the face of the most dangerous situation. So he tries to act the way I say for a while. -53 by Siri Samanthabhadra. But after 5 or 6 months he forgets what I said. After that, when he faces a situation like that, he attacks with whatever he can grab. That is the time to do a self-evaluation. Then you will understand. If you attack with whatever you can grab, that means you could not control the hatred that came to your mind. If you truly had Dhamma inside of you, then when hatred entered, the Dhamma would have risen above it. When hatred or anger arise within the stream entrant, Dhamma also arises immediately. If anger and hatred arise and then increase within you without Dhamma arising, then that means you have not entered the stream yet. Anger and hatred do not continue to stay within the stream entrant. Hatred arises because there is ego. A stream entrant does not have lifelong hatred. What is lifelong hatred? Lifelong hatred is holding on to a memory to take revenge at a later time. Stream entrant only has the thought for a short while. Only for an instance. When the incident is over, he forgets. It is good to not remember after the incident. When you remember, you will have the need to take revenge. Then you will have to go looking for those faces. When you go looking for those faces, what you get is mental weariness. There are only two things that you have to inspect. Sensual desire needs to be inspected. Anger needs to be inspected. It is a self-inspection. -54 Rhythm of life. I was also given a good opportunity to do just that in the recent past. Nature does that. It is not for the bad. Those opportunities are given so that we have the chance to test ourselves. Otherwise, there will be doubts about our realization of Dhamma. There will be doubts whether the state we reached is a real one or a temporary one. Sometimes people experience temporary stillness of the mind. As time passes, that state changes and the stillness disappears. He becomes like his old self. When one faces situations like the one earlier mentioned, he realizes there is no use in being shaken by anything. There is no use in struggling or fighting. What must happen happens just the way it should. If what must happen is going to happen that way anyway, then what is the use in putting up a struggle? Why claim or to take ownership? When asked for ownership, you give it and leave. You do this because there are no owners. Padamiti Dhanamati Thiiti Balavainati Adahayatano Nati Kudo Padakudo Dhanam. Means, sons I have, wealth I have. With this mindset the fool is afflicted. When he himself is not his own, then what sons? What wealth? People think they have. They are stuck in a huge problem. But those who have realized Dhamma know that none of this lasts. It is all a dream. So they do not become captured by any of this. But they live alongside it all. -55 by Siri Samanthabhadra Thero. Even though you realize the truth, you will have to live in the materialistic world with people who are still ignorant. Is it clear? That is why you have to think from the perspective of those who have not realized the truth and not from where you stand. If we don't think from their point of view, it shows how unkind we are. Imagine that I'm visiting a fishing village. What should I really do in that situation if I'm hoping to become an awakened one? I should get down from the vehicle and sell fish along with those fishermen. Am I really there just to sell fish with them? What is my intention? What is it that I'm going to tell these people while selling fish? Even if we caught fish in this manner, it really doesn't exist. What do I mean by this? They think they exist. But in reality they do not exist. Then I will ask them, what is the name of this particular fish? This is called sardine and this one is called tuna. Who named them? Then they will say, we were being told that way. So, I will ask, is there a problem if I call the tuna as mullet? They will say, no. -56 Rhythm of life. So who said that we must call this fish tuna? It is only by convention. Now, can those fishermen be able to sell fish without pondering about what I said? No. That much is enough. That's all the Dhamma I need to teach them. Since my job is done, I will wash my clothes and continue my journey. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? There is one story written in the Bible. One day when Jesus was walking on the beach, he saw a man called Simon was fishing. Simon didn't seem to be catching many fish. Jesus gets closer to Simon and shows him another place to catch many fish using his net. At the same time, Jesus tells Simon, come with me. I will show you how to catch humans. Simon becomes a follower of Jesus. Did you understand how Jesus was fishing? I also went fishing the same way. I'm explaining how I teach Dhamma to people. I will go to people who sell vegetables. While selling vegetables with those vendors, I will tell them about this Dhamma. After listening to me, their minds will be totally confused and bewildered. They won't be able to get rid of what I told them. Throughout their lives they will keep selling vegetables and fish, but they will not be able to forget what I said. they will realize that I know something more than what they already know about life. So they will keep investigating and seeking what it is. What is it that they are seeking? The truth. -57 by Siri. Samanthabhadra. There are those who have realized the truth comes back to this materialistic world and lives with the ignorant people. There is no difference between me and the rest of the people when I'm in this world. Do you understand? I'm seated like a lord in this manner only during these discourses. Is it clear? During discourses you can't even get close to me. But at the end of a discourse, when I get down from this chair, there is no difference between you and me. There is no need for any difference. If I think there should be a difference, then what is that called? It is my ego. It means I think I should be respected and honored. But on my journey towards honor and respect I receive scorn and mockery. So what will I tell myself? I will scold myself for expecting honor and respect. What happens when I scold myself this way? My mind becomes balanced. Do you understand this state of realization? It is inexplicable. Does this mean you will become gullible? No. Does this mean you will expect anything from anybody? No. But you will do everything you are supposed to do for others without fail. Such people will go and sell vegetables among vendors and sell fish among fishermen. It will not be something strange for them. -58 Rhythm of life. They will teach those ignorant people about truth. They will go among laborers and collect garbage. While doing that they will teach those people about Dhamma. But will they recite sutras? No, they will only use a simple example. While cleaning the room I will say, I never thought there was so much dust and dirt. Now I see that it was almost filled with dust and dirt only. Then I will poke him and say, even your mind is like this room. Isn't that good enough to learn a lesson? He has been told about this message. Now, that person will continue to ponder over it. He won't be thinking about the dust or the dirt. He will think about his mind. He will wonder how his mind must be like. He will not start cleaning the room but instead he will investigate about his mind. Only an intelligent man will walk on this path. A foolish man will not take this path and he will not care about any of my words. Such a man will live a life full of sorrow along with the same old ideals and perceptions. Because of this he will never become a stream entrant. That's why I'm asking you to try and understand this Dhamma. If you don't, I will somehow force you to understand this. Even by hurting you I will do it. This is the greatest compassion. There is a Bodhisattva in China known as Avalokiteshvara. He is known to be the most compassionate among Bodhisattvas. They say that he will become a Buddha after all beings in the world become Buddhas. This means he will never become a Buddha. Why is that? He is waiting until everyone becomes Buddhas. -59 by Siri. Samanthabhadra. He is too sensitive. He is always crying. Why? Because he sees that people are suffering. Every time he tries to laugh, he could see that people are suffering. There is a Chinese story about him. Once, he saw that people were suffering. So he started crying. Once, he saw that people were suffering. So he started crying. At the end his tears were so much that a lake was created from his tears. Since he didn't stop crying, the lake became an ocean and still he continued to cry. At the end, he could not bear the pain so his head exploded into 10 pieces while 1,000 hands and 1,000 eyes were created. He still lives in that state according to this story. Why did that happen? Because of his great compassion. Compassion is the need to make people realize the truth so that they will go beyond this suffering. Do not misunderstand what compassion is. Normally people think compassion is to give away some food or patting the head to make someone feel good. That is the worldly compassion. What is so compassionate about giving food? What is the need for food to someone who is not hungry? If we give food to such a person, will he think that we are compassionate? He might even get angry. He might think, why is someone bringing food when his stomach is full? All of those who have not realized truth have a need to realize it and go beyond. So real compassion is to teach the path so that people can realize the truth. He who teaches the pathways without going beyond. Why? -60 Rhythm of life behavior of a bodhisattva is very strange. He teaches the path to the others to go beyond without himself going beyond. Is it because he doesn't know how to? He knows very well. Can't he go beyond? He can. But he will not. It is very difficult. Why? It is like cooking food and staring at it without eating it. Why? Because he is afraid that it will not be enough for others. This is called the greatest compassion. A bodhisattva has to practice the following: greatest compassion, greatest wisdom. Greatest wisdom is to realize the truth. Greatest compassion is the need to teach it to others. Only the above two are needed, and this is their moral conduct. There are hundreds and thousands of bodhisattvas. They are different than the rest. They know this teaching. They come and teach this path to everyone, but they don't expect anything in return. That is their Dhamma. Try to attain the state of stream entrant. It is unlike anything else. After realization, you can live without any sorrow. -61 by Siri Samanthabhadra. There are questions and answers. Question. Most Venerable Thera, if someone comes and asks questions when I'm observing my mind, it will be disturbed. What should I do then? Answer. You need to check why your mind was disturbed. Either anger or anxiety is there, which means you don't have enough awareness of your mind. Is it clear what I'm saying? You should understand that you don't have enough patience, which means you should practice awareness more. Understand that you get angry and upset whenever someone questions against you. You must understand that you have a superficial calmness in your mind which gets disturbed. So, whenever that happens, keep checking yourself. If the inner calmness of your mind doesn't get disturbed even when thousands of people talk with you, then you should know that you are greater than all of them. Is it clear? That's the kind of calmness I seek. Otherwise, it is pointless to have a superficial calmness in your mind while you act like a saint. If you are losing your awareness, it means you have not practiced enough. Try to be aware most of the time. -62 Rhythm of life. This doesn't mean you should not do anything just because you need to stay aware of your mind. You should do all kinds of work. While working, be aware. If you lose your awareness, know that you have not practiced enough. Suddenly your mind will run here and there, which means you need to calm your mind furthermore. Question. Most Venerable Thera, what does the right view, Samadhi, really means? Answer. The right view is nothing but showing the path to attain the state of a stream entrant. The thoughts generated about this is known as the right thought, samma sankappa. The words which come through such thought are known as right words, samma vaka. What is behind these words? Awareness and wisdom. The actions which comes through this are known as right actions, samma kamantha. Now I have a question. Can someone enter this path without the right view? No, he must be having the right view. The state of a stream entrant itself is the right view. -63 by Siri Samanthabhadra. Thera question. Most Venerable Thera, does a stream entrant have an ego? Answer. Ego is there, but he is aware of it clearly. There is only a small difference between a stream entrant and a once-returner. The one who knows about his egoistic behavior will not be gullible or deceivable. He can identify false flattery. If someone genuinely praises him, he can identify the two. If someone cannot differentiate between false and genuine praise, he is not a stream entrant. Question. Most Venerable Thera, a stream enterer will not have the urge to chase behind materialistic things, right? Answer. The urge is less. He will not chase after such things purposely. But what can we tell about his extent of being mentally tired? It is very less. It quickly appears and vanishes. Is it clear? He does feel mentally tired. But since he is aware of it, soon the Dhamma rises in his mind. The Dhamma will say, "You fool, still you are sad about a dead past." Then the mind becomes balanced. That is his realization. -64 Rhythm of life question. Most Venerable Thero, even if someone becomes a stream entrant, he will be indulging in pleasure, right? Answer. They do indulge in pleasure but will not be attached to it. They do have an ego but will be aware of it. They have the feeling of indulging in pleasure and they will continue to be until they get rid of their ego completely. But they will not think that only I should enjoy and others should not. You should walk on this path and think over it in a relaxed state. Then live without suffering. This teaching is not for anyone to become an arahat or a Buddha. It is taught so that anyone can live without sorrow or misery. If you listen to this teaching and establish it in your mind, you can live without suffering. You will be able to observe whenever your mind gets disturbed and whenever there is desire. When you are tempted to chase after such things, you will realize that it is pointless because you will not gain anything in the end. So you will be able to become silent. -65 by Siri Samanthabhadra Thero question. Most Venerable Thero, won't a realized person have any doubt about the ultimate truth? Answer. No, a realized person will not have any doubt about his path of liberation. This physical world is a dream. He realizes about a state which is beyond this physical realm. He accepts that state. It is known as the state of a Buddha. Question. Most Venerable Thero, why do I feel empty when my mind leaves the two extremes and come to the middle? Answer. If you feel empty, it means your mind is not in the middle. There is no emptiness or completeness there. Your thoughts must slow down further. Is it clear? Try to keep your mind in the middle without letting it move to either of the extremes. I also understood this after some time, bit by bit. Do not expect that you will understand it all at once. Slowly walk on this path. Question. Most Venerable Thero, what is the real meaning of celibacy? Answer. Celibacy is living alone mentally. A celibate life is about completing dasakusal 10 moral deeds. -66 Rhythm of life. Let's think of a man who is living alone without a woman. If he doesn't even look at a woman, will it make him a celibate? I will not accept that he is a celibate, because he has a fake moral conduct. He doesn't even look at a woman because it will disturb his mind. So he will have to live his whole life without even looking at a woman. Isn't it absurd? Won't that make him exhausted? We look at everything, but we do not get attached to any of it. I'm talking about a mental aloneness, not a physical aloneness. If you go live in a forest, it will not help you. You should live in a balanced state of mind. This is a great Dhamma. If someone has this balanced state of mind, will he have any problems? No. You must test yourself. Let's take an example. If someone hits a person who has a balanced state of mind, will he get angry the very next moment? Yes. Even if anger arises, he will start thinking that it's pointless to get angry because the incident is already over. I'm already being it. Is it clear to you now? It is a very strange way of thinking. Then a normal person will think this man does not react even after being hit. This man is a fool. But that is his wisdom. The one who has entered this path is special. Such people are unique. They think differently. They say strange things. That's because they have become enlightened. They do not pretend. They do not deceive people by pretending to be saints. -67 by Siri Samanthabhadra Thero. They live with their own personalities. If someone scolds you directly facing you, accept that he is honest. If he is cunning, he will keep quiet and later even shoot you. The one who scolds you, accuses you directly, doesn't have any grudges against you, because he will say everything in his mind to you directly. Be careful when you associate people. Some people can deceive you by pretending to be saints. Such people will be treated as saints and will be honored. But they are two-faced people. The one who has realized this Dharma are very open, they have nothing to hide. That itself is their celibacy. A true saint will live a life full of freedom and he will have nothing to hide. Question. Most Venerable Thero, we have seen certain people in this society keeping quiet when they are being scolded. Does this mean that such people are also realized beings? Answer. If someone keeps quiet in such situations, it can be due to two reasons. First can be because of the trust, faith or respect he has for that person. The other reason can be out of fear because the other is superior. So, we have to carefully inspect the reason behind a person's behavior in such situations. Otherwise you will be deceived by people. How many times have you been deceived by people in this society? -68 Rhythm of life. It happened either because of your desire or your anger. There are two natures. Likes and dislikes. Attachment and rejection. Attachment is due to desire and rejection is due to anger. Delusion helps to get those together. Because of delusion, attachment or rejection is created. Without delusion there cannot be any attachment or rejection created. Which one is it that really disappears out of desire, anger and delusion? It is delusion which disappears at the end. Without delusion, desire cannot exist alone. They are always together. Anger cannot exist without delusion either. Because they exist together. Without delusion a person becomes an enlightened being. Is it clear? Get rid of your delusion. But you cannot do it by force. You must do it carefully. The person who has been deceived the most will be the one to become most successful. Because he has been deceived many times, he will have many experiences in life. Experience is to face whatever that happens in your life. If you need to realize this Dharma, you must face everything in your life. If you successfully face all the obstacles life throws at you and become silent, then you will not be attached to anything or rejecting anything either. Without attachment and rejection, there will not be any suffering or sorrow. If there is no sorrow, it means you have become a realized being. You have become holy. *****.